Good morning, everyone. My name is Christian, and I'm going to walk you through a 20-minute arms and abs exercise today. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in, get started. I like to start class out with just a nice plank hold, get everything warmed up, get your muscles ready for what you're about to do for the exercise. And we're just going to hold here for a few seconds. I like to take an adjustment right here at the beginning. If you were to bend your knees slightly, lift your hips about 1 to 2 inches, and then press those legs back out, and then sort of remember what this feels like as in a plank position. Anytime we come to a plank position here at Sculpt360, you want to remember, sort of apply this to your muscle memory. We're going to hold here for just a few more seconds before we move into a bear. My knees are going to bend in, my hands and feet are going to stay where they are in just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're just going to bend these knees in, bring them directly below your belly button before you press them back out. Just like this. You're going to bring them to a nice 90-degree angle. If your elbows are locked right now, give yourself a little bend in your elbows so that you're not locking them or hyperextending them. Nice slow 4. You can start to feel the activation of those upper abdominal muscles here as we move through it, keeping your back lifted, your back flat, your hips lifted. Just like this. You want to maintain your breathing throughout this entire exercise. Your breath is going to be the most important tool in getting you through. So you want to inhale deeply. Send your breath to your abdominal muscles. Exhale from them. And on my countdown, my shins are going to hit the carriage. My hands can either stay where they are or go onto the foam rolling handlebars. I like to put them on the foam rolling handlebars. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shins hit that carriage. Hands go on the foam rolling handlebars. We press out into a wheelbarrow position. That is what this exercise is called, a wheelbarrow. And we're going to press out from the shoulders. Yes, as we press this carriage out, you want to make sure that your hips don't sink into the well. You want to keep them lifted. And as you draw that carriage back in, you want to make sure that you're not moving your shoulders aren't moving any further past your wrists. So you don't want to move up like this. You want to keep them just above as you draw that carriage in. And your range of motion is going to be different for different people. So some of you are going to be able to press it out pretty far, and some of you aren't going to do that, and that's totally fine. Wherever your range of motion is at. Again, maintaining your breathing here in wheelbarrow. We're going to hang out here for just a few more seconds. And then both of my forearms are going to hit this front platform. My shins are going to stay where they are. And I'm going to lift my hips up straight towards the ceiling for a kneeling crunch. Here in just a second. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So shins are going to stay where they are. Forearms are going to go on this front platform here. And I'm just going to lift my hips straight up towards the ceiling, giving myself a nice upward curvature of my spine as I come to the top of that movement before I press back out. See this curvature here? And then press it back out. Yes, if you're holding any tension in your fingers, release that tension. You want to send all of your weight through the forearms, initiating the movement of this carriage from your abdominal muscles. Yes, maintain your breathing here. Breath does tend to become irregular, especially when you're face down in the platform. So you want to inhale deeply, send that breath to your abdominals, exhale from them, giving your muscles lots of oxygen. Yes, in a few seconds here, my hips are going to come to rest. They're going to stop as I press this carriage out. And I'm going to transfer that movement from my hips into my shoulders. And I'm going to press out from my shoulders, much like we just did in this wheelbarrow before, except now I'm on my forearms. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hips come to a stop, and we press out here from the shoulders. Yes. Keeping those hips lifted. Keeping those hips lifted is going to be especially important to those of you that have more of a curvature in your lower back like I do. Right, you tend to start to feel tension and pressure in that lower back. And just lifting those hips up half an inch to an inch is going to alleviate some of that pressure. Again, range of motion is going to be different for different people here. We are almost done with our opening ab block. In just a few seconds, I'm going to make my way to standing. My hands are going to hit the high handlebars. And my left foot is going to cross in front of my right foot for teaser here. We're moving on to obliques. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So my hands are hitting these high handlebars right here. My left foot is going to cross in front of my right. As we press out into a plank here, in teaser, and drawing that carriage back in. Again, initiating the movement of this carriage exclusively with your oblique muscles. You don't want to use your legs to draw the carriage in. Keeping your heels on the carriage and not lifting them up is going to help just keep your legs inactive here. Again, breathing through this whole exercise. You want to keep an equal distribution of weight on both hands. You don't want to send too much weight into either hand. We're going to hang out here for just a little while longer before moving on to a side plank hold. My left forearm is going to hit the front platform. My knees are going to hit the carriage for a side plank hold. In just 10 more seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees are going to hit the carriage. My left forearm is going to hit this front platform. My right arm is going straight up into the air for a side plank hold. Now's a good time to catch up on your breathing if it's starting to become irregular. You can keep this on your knees, or you could take it up to your feet. Whatever your preference, you can even lift that top foot up. I'm going to hang out here for just a few more seconds before both my forearms hit this front platform for a kneeling oblique crunch. My knees are going to stay stacked in just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both forearms hit this platform, knees stay stacked. And we're going to lift. Press out. 2, 3, 4. Back. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so nice and slow and controlled. You want to make sure that your shoulders are staying just above or even slightly behind your elbows as you lift those hips straight up towards the ceiling. Yes. Inhaling deeply, setting your breath to those obliques, exhaling from them. In just a few seconds here, my hips are going to come to a rest, and I'm going to press out from my shoulders for a kneeling oblique saw. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're feeling any tension in your lower back here, you can just untwist your hips slightly. That should help alleviate some of that pressure. Don't be afraid to make sounds with your breath either. I'm going to take this out for a hold in kneeling oblique saw in just a second here. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to hold here for just a few seconds before moving back to a full range of motion. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full range. We are almost done with obliques on the right side. We're going to transition to teaser on the, almost done with obliques on the left side. Gonna move to teaser on the right side in just 8 seconds here. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands are gonna hit these high handlebars. This time my right foot is going to cross in front of my left as we press out for teaser. Nothing wrong with a little bit of sweat. Yes, an equal distribution of weight between both hands here. Keep doing our best to keep those heels on the carriage. You also want to make sure that as you draw this carriage in, your hips aren't moving any further past your heels like this. You want to keep them directly above or even slightly behind your heels as you draw that carriage in. Yes, in just a few seconds here, both of my forearms are going to, I'm moving into a side plank hold. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Side plank hold here. My right forearm is hitting the front platform. My knees are going on the carriage. Still stacked on top of one another. Again, you can keep this on your knees. My voice just cracked. You can take it up onto your feet, and you can lift that top foot in either position. I'm going to keep it on my knees for now. In just a few seconds, both my forearms are going to hit this front platform for a kneeling oblique crunch here. My left hip is going to lift straight up towards the ceiling. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both forearms lifting those hips straight up towards the ceiling, initiating the movement of the carriage with those oblique muscles, giving yourself a nice slight upward curvature to the spine as you come to the top of the movement. Yes, again, if you're feeling any tension or pressure in your lower back, just untwist your hips slightly. I am going to be moving to a kneeling oblique saw here in just a few seconds. Hips are going to come to a rest. I'm going to press out from the shoulders. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Hips come to a rest, pressing out from the shoulders. Again, sending all of your weight, pressing through those forearms and those shins, keeping those hips lifted. It's easy to let your hips sink here. Keep them up. I'm going to take a hold in just a second, pressing my shoulders out. In 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. And I'm just going to hang out here for a few seconds before I move back to a full range of motion. In 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full range. We are almost done with obliques. I am going to turn around in just a second. We're going to start arms. Change my spring load from 1 yellow to 3 or 4. 3 is being the more supported option here. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving to the back, making sure my carriage is closed before I change my spring load. 3 or 4 yellow. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up these black cables here. First, you want to make sure that your feet are in these back eyelet holes for stability here. And I'm just going to take a chest opener, pressing back, squeezing those shoulder blades together, even as you draw those cables back in. You want to make sure your shoulders are down and back here, that you're not holding any tension, any excess tension in your neck. You want to make sure also that as you draw the cables closed, you don't want to move any further past your hips like this, at the risk of losing some tension in the cables. You want to keep them just here. Still inhaling deeply, regulating your breath here. I am going to take a hold in chest opener in just a second. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press those cables back for a hold in chest opener. From here, we're going to move to sexy back. All that's going to happen is my upper body, my torso is going to tilt forward slightly. My elbows are going to bend in at a 90-degree angle, and we're going to press out with those forearms for sexy back in just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slight tilt forward, bending those elbows in before pressing back out for sexy back here. Maintaining a nice flat back, activating those tricep muscles. Yes. Pressing those shins into the carriage. Nice and slow and controlled. Inhaling deeply, sending your breath to those triceps. Exhaling from them. In just a few seconds here, I'm going to sit it back up. I'm going to cross these cables over one another, and I'm going to re-grab for a newspaper in just 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross these cables over one another. Bring my elbows into my sides as we open up for newspaper. Yes, you want to make sure that your forearms are staying parallel to the floor throughout the entire motion of this exercise. So you don't want to lift them up or take them down any. You want to keep them just right here, parallel with the floor. Making sure that as you pull these cables into a close, that you're not crossing these carabiners over one another. You're only bringing them just two before reopening. And in just a second here, I'm going to throw these cables into the well because we'll be finished up with them. I'm going to push off to the back of the machine. I'm going to grab the foam rolling handlebars on the back platform. My palms will be facing up. And I'm going to take some bicep curls in 10, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. tossing those cables into the well, pressing off to the back, grabbing these foam rolling handlebars right here, palms facing up. You can take your knees into those back eyelet holes for stability. And we're just going to draw this carriage closed for bicep curls here. Maintaining a nice flat back, sticking that butt out slightly. And this is going to be it. This is going to be the last exercise here for this quick 20-minute abs and arms workout. I am going to take a hold here for just a second. I'm going to hold in 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. You don't want to rest your elbows on the carriage at all. Make sure that they're off and free by themselves. I am going to move back to a full range of motion here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, in, 2, 3, 4, back out, 2. Yes. On my countdown, I'm going to release these foam rolling handlebars. I'm going to ride it to the front of the machine, ride the carriage to the front of the machine, and I'm going to take a finisher here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ride it to the front. I'm going to take it into a plank, a reverse plank here. At the 2 and the 3, or the 4 and the 2. And my finisher here is just going to be some mountain climbers. It's nice and simple. Bringing those knees towards the elbow, doing your best to keep the carriage still. Just to finish up class. Yes, finishing up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, I'm going to change my spring load back down to 1 yellow. Turn it around. Press this carriage out for a child's pose, bringing those toes together, reaching your knees towards the outer edges of the carriage, just to give yourself a full spinal stretch. Here we go, and that, folks, is it. So congratulations on your nice quick 20-minute workout here with arms and abs. Again, my name is Christian. Have a great day.